Welcome to tonight's yin class. We're going to spend a little bit of time tonight being relaxed in our body, letting some of the stress of the last couple of weeks try to get worked out a little bit. We're going to do some breathing to help out with that and end with a longer meditation and body scan. So I'm going to suggest that if you need anything to get started, you grab one block. And you might also want a blanket to either sit on or to cover up with later on. So go ahead and get any props that you would like ready. We're going to go ahead and start from a laying down position tonight. So you can start simply by laying down on your mat. And you have your choice. You might either stretch your legs out long, have your arms rest alongside your body, or if it would be more comfortable for you, you're welcome to bend your knees. Perhaps bring your feet wide on the mat with your knees touching. If you'd like, you might place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. This can be a nice way to connect with your breath and your body to get started. So as we settle in here, begin by connecting with the floor. So notice all of those points of connection between your body and the floor. Notice the floor fully supporting you here. And take a few moments just to scan from the top of your head and then going all the way down through your body, noticing how you're feeling tonight. So notice those places that might feel a little bit tense or tight. If you can, breathe into those places and see if you can release the tension a little bit. You might also take a few moments to notice if there's any places that feel good in your body tonight, or even just neutral. And bring your attention to your breath. So notice that rise and fall of your belly and chest. Notice the air flowing in and out of your nostrils. And notice the pace of your breath. When we tend to have a lot of anxiety or longer term stress, we tend to breathe more quickly and shallow, and not to get that deep, full breath that helps our systems know it's time to relax. So you might begin to notice that pace of your breath, and then begin to see if you can lengthen your exhale. We'll work on this a little bit later on in a seated position, but this might be a good chance just to connect and begin to practice lengthening your breath, taking full, deep, slow breaths. As you breathe, you might offer yourself a few moments of compassion, knowing that you're doing the best you can for right now, and that is enough. You might set an intention for allowing compassion for yourself. If you would like to set a different intention, this might be a good time to take a few moments to consider what that intention would be. Take 3 more slow, long breaths and notice whatever needs to be noticed. It might be a physical sensation, a thought, an emotion, or something else, simply allow the space to be noticed. After your third breath, if your arms are not down by your side, release them there. If your legs are not straight, straighten your legs. Stretch your arms overhead, big full body stretch, get as long as you can. And then let your limbs relax for a moment. Take a deep breath in, long exhale out. And then leave your hips and your shoulders where they are. Move your wrists and ankles over to the right. Make the shape of a banana. So you have a long side body stretch through your left side body. Notice that. Notice where you feel some kind of sensation happening in your body. Take a couple breaths here. When you're ready, slowly come back to center. And then again, keeping hips and shoulders on the floor, move wrists and ankles over to the left. So now we're making a shape of a banana in the opposite direction. Long side body stretch through the right body. Notice how this feels. It might get in some different spots or have different sensations on this side. That's okay. On your next breath, come back to center. Everything in one long line. Another full body stretch. Get nice and long. And then relax. This time bend your knees, hug your knees into your chest, and rock a little bit from side to side. Gentle massage for your lower back on the floor. And then roll all the way over to the right side and press your hands into the floor to help yourself come up to a seat. We're going to be in a seat for a few moments, so if you would like to grab that blanket and sit up on your blanket, you're welcome to do that. To start with, your legs can be in any position that's comfortable for you. Sit nice and tall through your spine. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Create some space through your chest. We're going to bring our attention back to our breath. So find that groundedness through your body again. Connect with the floor, that length through your spine. We're going to again begin to work on lengthening our breath, allowing our parasympathetic system to know that it's safe and okay to slow down. You're welcome to do this with your hands resting comfortably somewhere, or again, if it's useful, you might place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly to really bring that attention to the rise and fall of your belly and chest. Start by taking a couple of natural breaths, noticing that space. You might notice that when you take an inhale, you expand not just through the front of your body, but also through the sides and the back. You have the choice to either stay here and simply work on long, full breaths. If you would like, you might begin to work on lengthening your exhale. And if possible, we'd like to make our exhale twice as long as our inhale. So you might do this by counting. You might count in for 1 count, and then out for 2. For me, it's a little slow, so I like to do 2 and 4. So inhale for 2 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. If there's a different number of counting that keeps you grounded and in this slow, long exhale, that's also okay. So perhaps find that counting pattern that works for you and find that breath. Remember to choose a breath count and pattern that's comfortable for you and that helps you to begin to settle into your body, your breath, and perhaps letting go a little bit of tension and stress. Take 5 more breaths just like this. One more. When that breath is complete, return to your natural breath. You can allow your arms to come back down to your side to rest and flutter your eyes open if they happen to be closed. We'll begin to wake up our spine a little bit, especially for those of you who may have been sitting a lot lately or being hunched over computers or devices. So let's start just by taking 3 more breaths with a little bit of movement to get us used to movement. So inhale, big stretch, lift your arms up, look up. Exhale, slowly back down, stretch out through your fingertips, get as long as you can out to the sides. Inhale, lift up. Add that little bit of a back bend, look up. Exhale, fold, arms come back down. One more, inhale, lift up. Exhale, back down. We're going to add on to this a little bit. So inhale, lift up. This time bring your right hand down to the floor, bend your elbow, tip over to the side. Again, long side body stretch, and if you can, even work to open your chest up towards the ceiling. Take a couple of those slow, long breaths here. Everything be nice and slow and gentle tonight. Your next inhale, lift back up, both arms up. And then exhale, left hand comes down to the floor, tip to the left. Perhaps open your chest towards the ceiling, nice big stretch. breath. Inhale, come up to center, reach up. Bring your right arm back down to the floor. Do that same stretch just for a moment. And then turn your chest down towards your knee. Sweep your fingers in front of you to switch to the other side. Big stretch open through the side. Chest turns down towards your knee. Sweep back over to the right. Big stretch. We're going to do that 2 more times. Chest turn towards knee. Sweep with that little bit of a forward fold through the center. Big stretch. Chest faces the knee. Sweep your fingertips. 1 more time on each side. You're always welcome to move at a different pace if that works better for you. This time, turn your chest down to face your knees, bring your fingertips down to the floor, come to the center, and find about a halfway forward fold for you. We'll do a couple rounds of a seated cat and cow here. So you can begin by arching your spine, looking down, and then inhale, look forward, pull your chest through, exhale down, inhale up. 1 more time, exhale down. Inhale, pull your chest forward. And then find a neutral spine. Walk your fingertips back to center and come back to a seat. Go ahead and stretch your legs out long. You've been sitting like this for a while. Maybe shake your legs out a little bit. You might add a couple of ankle circles or rolls, working out a little bit of that stress or tension from your ankles. And then go ahead and set up for your first longer forward fold. So for this, I like to be on just the very edge of my blanket. Feet are stretched out long, but for this style, our feet are nice and relaxed, so we're not worried about pulling our toes back to our face. And they're a little bit wider apart than you might find in other classes. If you like to have support, this is a good place to have a block to rest your head on, or maybe a couch cushion or something if you would like to lay on that. You're also welcome to do this without any form of support. So start by getting nice and tall through your spine. When you're ready, walk your hands forward. Begin to find that fold. And here you can allow your spine to round down. Look down towards your knees. Hands can rest on the floor, your legs, or maybe under your heels. Or this can be where you rest your head if you would like to. As you settle into this position, notice where you feel sensation as you begin, so that you can begin to notice the change over time. In yin, this is a position called caterpillar, and it tends to be one of our longer holds. In our classes, they can be up to 5 minutes, though we won't do that quite so long tonight. If you ever notice that you become a little agitated or have difficulty staying in these longer holds, you're always welcome to come out at any time, add that little bit of movement, and then perhaps choose to come back to that position. If at any point your mind drifts away, know that that's very natural and perfectly okay. And then come back to your breath. Find that slow, long breath once again, and use that to ground you in the present. This is also a good time to come back to any intention that you set for yourself for practice. If you're not sure what to use for that, come back to that idea of finding compassion for yourself. How can you offer yourself compassion right in this moment? Take a few moments. Notice if anything feels different now than when you started this position. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to rise back up to a seat. Bring your fingertips back behind you. Either lean back, open through your chest, and gently rock from side to side. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can bend your knees, plant your feet, lift up your hips for reverse table. Take a couple breaths with one of those choices. Lower your hips back down to the floor if they're lifted. And then come back up towards a seat. From here, we're going to roll onto our belly. So we're going to move towards a couple rounds of a back bend, starting with Sphinx. So in this position, our hands are about shoulder width apart, just slightly forward of our shoulders. Palms face down, feet flat on the floor. Pull your shoulder blades together, ears away from your shoulder, and notice that back bend. So notice where through your spine you feel sensation happening. This might be a nice reversal from all that time on devices. Back bends can also be really good for depression because we tend to do a lot of folding inward when we're depressed. And this is a nice way to reverse some of that. So open through your heart, feel that sensation. Get nice and long through your spine. Take 3 more breaths here. Find that slow, long breath. When you're ready, bring your palms together, elbows out to the side, lower down, rest one cheek on your hands. Maybe rock your hips a little bit from side to side. Release that tension through your spine. Take a couple of breaths. For our second back bend, we're going to start the same way. So come up onto your elbows, and you might stay with this exact same position. So this is Sphinx. If you'd like to stay with that, you're welcome to stay there. If your back feels like it would like a little bit more, press into your palms, lift your elbows off of the floor. Keep your shoulder blades pulled together, Look forward in front of your mat and notice that length. But anytime you need to drop back down to your elbows, you're always welcome to do so. Do what's right for your back and your body today. Again, take 3 more breaths. And then again, bring your hands stack, elbows out wide. Perhaps turn your cheek in the other direction. This time, if you'd like, you might bend your knees, let your feet sway a little bit from side to side. Lower your feet back down to the floor. And we'll do one final round of back bend. So you might choose to do one of those same things we just did. If there is a different back bend that you would like to do now, perhaps cobra or fingertip cobra, this would be a good time to do that. I'm going to do a fingertip cobra, so we're going to bring our hands slightly off the mat in front, elbows up, and then lift. Again, you can always change to a different position of a back bend if you prefer, or just come back to a resting position. Notice how this feels in your spine. Give yourself that compassion if you need it by coming down to something that's a little less intense. Take 3 more breaths. Lower all the way down. This time press back to a child's form. So toes touch, knees are wide, chest can come down to the mat. You can have either your arms stretched out in front or wrapped around your body, whatever's comfortable for you. Press into that center point of your forehead to get nice and grounded. Use this position to come back to your breath. Take 3 more breaths here. Stretch your arms out long if they're not there already. And then come up onto your fingertips. So make this a more active child's form. Walk your hands over to the right. Find that side stretch. Your head can be floating or your forehead can rest on the floor. Come back to center. Walk your fingertips over to the left. Find your variation. Take a few breaths. Come back to center and then lift on up to table. If you would like a blanket for your knees, this is a good time to get that. We'll start by taking a couple rounds of cat and cow. So belly drops down as you look up, and then pull your belly button back to your spine as you arch your back. Move through these two positions for 4 more rounds. Moving at your own pace. If you'd like to move with your breath, that's sometimes a good option. 1 more. And then find a neutral spine. Look forward, perhaps come onto your fingertips, step your right foot forward. From here, you can stay exactly where you are and let this be enough. You might bring your hands up to your knee and shift your weight forward. You might bring your arms all the way overhead, look up and add that back bend. Take a couple of breaths here. Notice that energy that you're using to hold yourself up. When you're ready, shift your weight back, bring your hands down to the floor inside your right foot. Walk your right foot out to the side, and then point your toes at an angle, so kind of a 45-degree angle out. You might shift your weight back forward. I like to walk my left knee back. You could stay here with tall arms, and this might be plenty. If you'd like, you might grab that block and bring your elbows down to your block or all the way to the floor. You can also allow your knee to open to the side away from your body. Roll onto the pinky toe side of your foot if you would like to. This is our dragon. You might be feeling a little bit of fire through your legs. Breathe into that. Long, slow breaths. Use that breath or that sensation to keep you grounded in that present moment, noticing exactly what's happening now and nothing else. Take 3 more breaths. When you're ready, come back to tall arms if you're not. Shift your weight back. Bring your right knee back to the floor for that tabletop position. Take a couple moments to move your hips from side to side or make circles. Anything that would feel nice right now. Come back to that tabletop position. Step your left foot forward. Again, maybe stay here. Maybe begin to shift your weight forward as you bring your hands to your knee. Or even lift your arms all the way overhead. Look up, add that back bend. Notice all that energy that's holding you up. Notice that big back bend, big stretch through your legs. One more slow breath. Shift your weight back. Hands come down to the floor on the inside of your left foot. Walk your left foot out to the side and point your toes out at that angle. Then if you'd like, you can shift back forward. I like to walk my right knee back. Stay with tall arms, or perhaps find a block or the floor. Sink forward, let your knee drop out to the side, and breathe. You might notice that fire through your legs again. Just notice it. Can always come out if it causes any pain at all. Take a couple more breaths. Stay with it if you can. When you're ready, come to tall, straight arms. Shift your weight back. Come back to table. And then go ahead and sit back down. Swing your legs back to the front. If you would like to sit up on that blanket again, you might. We're going to do one more version of a forward fold. So for this, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. We're going to really press strongly into our pinky toe side so the top of our foot, our big toe side, might actually separate a little bit. Sit really tall through your spine. Allow your hips to open. If you would like, add that fold forward. You can lead with your chest and then round your spine if you would like. This is our butterfly. This again is one of our longer forward folds. So you can start by noticing how this feels as you begin. So you can notice if it changes over time. Again, if you like to have something to rest your head on, this might be another position where you might utilize that block. Find that slow breath. Get nice and grounded into your breath. Let that keep you in the present moment. Continue to notice how you feel. Perhaps notice that stretch through your legs and your hips. Let everything slow back down. 3 more long, slow breaths, and notice if anything feels a little different now than when you started this position. After that third breath, begin to slowly rise back up. Stretch your legs back out in front of you, shake them out. Perhaps bring your fingertips behind you, and again, either lean back and open through your chest, or plant your feet and lift your hips for reverse table, and take a couple of breaths. Lower your hips back down and come all the way to your back body. Start once again by hugging your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then bring your left foot down to the floor. Right ankle over left knee. Open your right knee out to the side. You could stay here with your left foot on the floor, or lift your left foot up, interlace your hands behind your left thigh, and hug everything into center. Head and shoulders are relaxed. Notice the opening through your hip. When you're ready, release that left foot down to the floor if it's up. Bring your arms out to the side. They can be bent elbows or straight. And begin to let your knees fall over to the left. So a nice big twist. You can keep your right ankle over your left knee or stack your knees, whatever feels better for your body. If you can, work to keep that shoulder grounded into the floor, and you might look away from your knees. Nice big side body twist. Feels like a little too much, you can always grab a blanket or a block and bring it either underneath your knees or between your knees to give you a little extra support. Take 3 more breaths in this position. When you're ready, bring everything back to center. Go ahead and hug your knees into your chest again. And then bring your right foot down to the floor, left ankle over right knee, and open your knee out to the side. Again, you can choose to stay here with your right foot on the floor, or you can lift your right foot up, interlace your hands behind your thigh, and hug everything into center. Keep your feet flexed. If you can, that'll help protect your knee. Notice that opening through the hip on this side. Keep working the left knee away from your body. take about 3 more breaths here. Bring your right foot down to the floor if it's not already there. Bring your arms out to the side, either straight arms or bent elbows. This time let your feet and knees drop over to the right. If you can, look away from your knees, deepen that twist. Find that slow breath. Perhaps come back to whatever your intention for practice was, whether it was compassion for yourself or something else. When you're ready, unwind back to center. Bring both feet down to the floor. Take a few breaths here. And then go ahead and find that block or a cushion. Bring your feet close to your hips. Press into your elbows to lift your shoulder blades together, and press into your feet to slide the block under your hips. Your arms can rest where it's comfortable. Some of us might be doing yoga with animals tonight, which is always an adventure. Home practices can be interesting and a little bit different. Have compassion and know that that's okay too. If you feel grounded and would like to, you might lift your feet off of the floor and stretch them up towards the ceiling. Take 5 more breaths here. After that 5th breath, if your legs are lifted, bend your knees, bring them back to the floor. Press into your feet to lift your hips, slide the block off to the side, and maybe windshield wipe your legs from side to side. Come back to center and make your way towards a final resting position. So this could be knees bent, feet wide, with knees touching, arms resting comfortably to the side. This could be a more traditional Shavasana with your legs stretched out long, or anything else that's comfortable for you. take a few moments here to get nice and grounded. Notice again all those connections between your body and the floor. Notice whatever you experienced during your practice tonight. What was that practice like for you? Find your slow, deep breath. Eyes can be closed if that's comfortable for you, or gently staring up towards the ceiling. Let everything slow down and take rest